We live and travel in our campervan full time, currently in Switzerland, Sweden. Fuck off. And we're currently in Switzerland, Sweden. We travel and live full time in our off-grid campervan. We're currently in Sweden, about halfway up as we travel north to the Arctic Circle. Our LPG is already frozen, so we need to figure that out. Follow as we head further north. We're currently driving along the E45 north through Sweden, which is one of the options. The other alternative was the E4, which a lot of people recommended just because it's far straighter, quicker to get to the Arctic Circle. But after all the boring roads from the UK, we were just ready to hit the back roads and see some scenery that Sweden has to offer. Last night it got down to -14, which is the record for us in the van. The LPG regulator froze up, which meant we couldn't cook, so I was under the van having to warm the regulator up, and luckily got it going again. But we need to figure out what we're going to do with that, because obviously we can't be doing this every day. Rock solid. So this is what I used to wrap around the regulator last night. Used boiling water and then wrapped it around. Got it working, but this thing is rock solid now, so same thing again before we try and insulate it. All this because we want beans on toast for lunch. If anyone knows where we can get beans on toast in the Antarctic, the Arctic, then let us know. What am I saying?
We just pulled into the services. Tracy's gone to look for bins, and I need to go and park for the night to find somewhere to stay for the night.
We just pulled in off the E45, but no, just man up. So we just pulled in off the
Oh god, you gotta keep some of this shit for us to watch one day.
Just pulled in off the E45 to find somewhere we...
Hi, we just pulled in off the E45. We've just pulled off the E45. It's just in a bit of a services which seem to be dotted along the road. The road is definitely more snow covered than what it has been, and definitely more rutted, resulting in having to lose most of the cooker today because it's rattled its way off, but nonetheless. So we're just going to stop here, have a little nosy where to look. We've not had much luck on park for night because most of the things seem to be snowed in at the moment. So we tend to find a little lay-bys, which seem to be everywhere because it's so rural around here. But the only issue is because we always arrive in the dark, we kind of tend to find where we end up in the morning. So let's have a little drive and see where we end up.
So if you want any alcohol in Sweden, this is the government-run shop, and it's the only place you can get it, and it's closed. So we made it to our spot for the evening, another snow-drenched car park. It's exactly why we came here, and we're heading north. We can't get enough of the snow, the extreme cold, and hopefully we get more of it as we head north. But yeah, we're just loving it. So we've got our drinks on ice. Low alcohol. Thanks very much, Sweden. Yeah. So this will be a good time to touch base again. It's been a few days since we picked up the camera, a few bits of maintenance. We hit the Arctic Circle. We've been in Kiruna meeting friends. Some of you may know Alex Frood, who's the Arctic man. The dogs have had the wormer to enter Finland. Poor bear. He's a bit squitsy, to say the least, so he's not feeling his best. It's fairly mild in the Nordics in general, but actually today it's dropped considerably. So minus 21 on the tyre pressure sensor, and we're expecting it to maybe drop below minus 30. So we're just wrapping up with laundry, meeting Alex and Joe, and then yeah, we're going to head over to Finland and see if we can get some really cold weather, but it is bloody cold. So we haven't got very far, and Alex's temperature is starting to drop on his van, so he's just makeshifting an engine cover to protect from the wind. So he's just making it now, and then we can keep going. Well, so as you can clearly see, I got back to the van and our temperature had dropped down to 60 something, so I thought it best to put mine on as well. So we just had to pull over because Alex's engine temperature was dropping a bit too quick, and then in actual fact, as we were waiting, our engine temperature started dropping as well, and I thought, you know what, I'm just going to put ours on now that we made before we left, because I didn't want in like 20 minutes down the road we're pulling over again because our van needs it as well. So there we were at the side of the road, massive lorries absolutely thumping past, pretty hectic, but they're both back on. We're now just aiming for the Finland border, hoping to get some extremely low temperatures. I think we've hit as low as minus 28.5 this evening, which when you go outside is really, really cold. I mean, inside our nostrils today have just been like freezing up. It's quite an unusual sensation, one we've definitely not experienced before. Feeding time at the zoo. Cold weather problems. The windows are frozen shut, so hairdryer to the rescue. Get it back up before it sticks down. Oh. So poor little old Wombo, he's got a bit of an eye condition, producing 0 tears in one eye and very little in the other. He's also got muscle washes in the head, so not much going well for him at the moment, but
we're trying the best we can for him. He's had all the tests and everything, so it's just a case of managing it now. But this is a regular occurrence throughout the day.
Nothing like a little bit of aloe vera for his spa treatment.
He does fight it though.
Are we going to hit minus 30, minus 29 and a half? In for a chilly night. And minus 30. Yes, the problem we're having is all the spots that we're trying to find to camp for the night are all just covered in snow. Nothing's been ploughed, so we're just in convoy up the main road, just inside Finland, just trying to find somewhere. So hopefully find somewhere soon, both ready for a beer, ready for dinner. So hopefully the next spot that we found on Google Earth looks like it should be like a bit of a main road pull-in, so fingers crossed. Is this one going to be ploughed? Looking good. This will do. So Alex has just found another spot up the road, so he's going to take a look and see if it's any good. Apparently it looks quite nice, but no doubt it's probably covered in snow. So Alex just went up the road to see whether there was a better spot, but the fact that he's back tells me that it was a no-go.
It's been a long day.
So Alex was just saying that it's meant to be the coldest at 4 AM.
Oh, he static shocked me.
He's full of static. Yeah, Alex saying that the coldest is at 4 AM, and he said if we check at 4 AM and it's like low as like minus 37 to put our engine preheater on, because it was minus 37 last year, whereas Arctic diesel started to gel.
Oh.
And he couldn't get his diesel heater the engine preheater started.
So you'll be setting the alarm for the morning then?
I think we might sleep through that and then just get Alex to fix it for us. We were hunting the cold last night and it got down to minus 30, we think. That's the most I think we all got on record. We're just about 30 minutes north of the border and we hunted the cold last night, but the snowstorm I think is now starting. We're going to head about 2.5 hours south where the most of the snow is forecast. Alex has just left, he's gone back up to Tromsø, Norway, to pick up his studded tyres, and then he's going to come back and meet us in the next few days. The plan is roughly that we may head up to Nordkapp in convoy as well at some point, but we'll see how it goes. I didn't know it was possible to get brain freeze without eating something. This is really cold, so I'm going to get back in the van. We're going to head off and find the snow. Just going to drop the tyre pressure down because the amount of snow that's on the road is starting to freeze. and it's really uneven, so what that does is it's like driving off-road basically and just rattling the whole van. So we're just going to drop the tyre pressure and hopefully that improves. So the other day we mentioned about having issues with our LPG. The regulator was sticking in the cold even though it's rated down to -20. I think even at -5, -10 it was still cutting out. So what I've done now is I have installed a heat trace cable and that's wrapped around the valve, and then we have a switch up in the cupboard because I have an old feed going down under the van that I've used, and now we just switch that on. I've also added a spare temperature sensor so we can monitor the temperature, and then once we see that it comes just above freezing, the gas comes on and away we go. Womble enjoying his new snow boots. So we fancy a couple of glasses of wine tonight, which means we've got to go to the Finnish specialist alcohol shop, and if there's any guesses on what the name of it is. This is our spot for the night. So we're going to stay here tonight and probably tomorrow night as well. There's a big snowstorm forecast tomorrow, so we're going to see if we can get stuck, snowed in, and see what fun that will be. But for now, we're going to crack open a beer, start the dinner, and enjoy the evening. So we'll catch up with you tomorrow unless the snow gods start delivering early. So the snow arrived as planned. We are down a deep, long forest track in Finland. How do people hold these cameras? Heavy. Plenty fell through the night. We woke up and we couldn't even see the road from last night. And yeah, nice surprise. The road has completely gone, which was great fun for the dogs this morning. We're gonna hunker down here today and get some work done and see what happens with the snow. To give you some context, you'll often see Tracy in the videos, but as she has a full-time job on the road,
obviously she can't commit to being on camera or getting involved with what I'm doing. But you'll see her every, like, here and there, mostly in the evenings, weekends, or early mornings. But yeah, so she is with us. But you just, for people maybe watching and thinking like, where is she? Is she's busy beavering away in the van, in the van snow cabin. So I was quite surprised to find this track, to be honest. Like I said in previous clips, the conditions in northern Scandinavia since we've been here is that most of the the woodland tracks especially are never ploughed. So maybe this is an important track for someone. So some of you may know us from the Instagram account Unlikely Explorers. That's maybe how you found us on here. Obviously, as you can see, we don't really put our faces on there, especially don't talk to camera much or at all. So this is all very new for me. And poor Tracy, I keep pointing the camera at her and she kind of goes, whoa. But I'm sure we'll get more natural and used to it. I'm definitely going to have one massive arm from holding this camera, and not from the other reason you may be thinking. So we've not been to the Nordics before. We've often travelled to Southern Europe. We generally find the warmer weather, get down to a beach or somewhere nice, especially coming from the UK. But we also love the extremities, so we like it hot, but we also like it very cold, and we love the snow, and the dogs love the snow. So that's why we're here. We've always had it on our bucket list to come here, travel around, and yeah, it's definitely living up to its expectations. It's obviously a bit mild, so there's been a few days where it's not been as cold, and we thought we'd be heading up to Norway in the very north, go to Lofoten, if that's how you say it, and also Nordkap. But hearing from people up there already is that it's even milder there, and what that means is the road thaws out, and then you end up with this kind of like refreezing of the road, which is not ideal. So I think our friend Alex actually had a slip on the road, ended up in the snowbank. Just so lucky that he was able to get pulled out, no damage, apart from, as he says, the snow shovel trying to dig himself out. I must admit, I didn't realise that this road we came down was this long. Yeah, we often find that when we, as you do in the Nordics, it's always dark when you arrive somewhere. I think up in Kiruna where we were the other day, apparently the daylight had only just returned from the winter solstice. I'm not sure how much snow's going to fall now. The forecast is bucket loads, but as everyone knows, the forecast is always a bit random. Yeah, so we're super happy with how the van's performing in the snow and the extreme cold. Obviously we put a lot of time and effort into planning this, just because it is where we live and travel full time. We just wanted to be able to use the van as we normally would. We didn't want the restrictions of, waste tanks freezing, not being able to shower, not being able to wash up properly, not being able to have or use our large water tanks. So I'll get into the specifics of what we have and how it works at a later stage. But right now it's just to say that, yeah, to be here up to -30 the other day, and everything's faultless. Obviously we had that little blip with the LPG regulator, but since I've added that heat trace cable, it's just been spot on. It takes about 10 minutes once we flick the switch, and it just warms it up. There's clearly something inside the regulator that just sticks. I guess it's just maybe a bit of moisture, a bit of water in there or something. I'm not entirely sure, but all I know is it works. So we've got the first casualty of the cold weather trip. Towels everywhere. So what's happening is, we reckon condensation is getting above the ceiling where the insulation is, and then freezing, and now it's starting to defrost. Obviously we have all our packing cubes and everything in there, so the heat just won't get there at all. I think in that corner just there, we could actually see ice in that very corner. So We just got everything opened up and let it thaw out, let it dry out hopefully. Heating's on max, dogs are loving that, so let's see how this pans out.
I think it's safe to say that there's definitely a need for a proper snow brush.
So a little spot of lunch while we're down the woodland track. What's on the menu?
Chicken mayo sandwiches.
I know someone else that's ready for some chicken mayo sandwiches. So while Tracy sorts out the lunch, I'm just going to show you how we're surviving off grid here. So obviously there's no solar. We do have a portable 600 watt solar panel. We didn't even bother bringing it up to the Nordics, to be honest, because there's barely any sun. So we live and survive from the alternator. We've got a high-powered alternator, high-powered alternator charger. So we're currently gone down a fair bit today, since yesterday, just because of all the things we have running, like keeping the stuff warm, like the cables, heating the waste pipes, and the diesel heaters running non-stop. So I'm going to start the engine, run it for about an hour, and that should top us up. So there you go, you should be able to see that, just charging just short of 2.5 kilowatts. We've got a bit of losses, it will just be whatever's been used on the 12 volt sides, like the fridge and the lights and everything. So if we had everything off, it'd be slightly higher than that, but yeah, that's what keeps us ticking.
Put a bit of rocket on anything that makes it look fancy.
You might have heard of the cheese tax, but have you heard of the chicken tax?
It's a chicken. You find it. Where's the chicken? I don't know. What are you
Where is it? Is it there?
You can find a chicken. Where's the chicken? Find it. Find it. Find it.
Right, so we're not snowed in yet, but looking at the weather app, I think the worst is just about to hit us. It's looking super moody over there. It's either that or it's just dark because it's the Nordics, but I think it might be snow. But yeah, I need to get on the roof and check on the Starlink, check on the bits on the roof anyway. So let's have a look. I'd say we've had a good 8 inches there. No Starlink. Starlink. Not doing the best job. Oh, actually I think it's just freezing. Signal's still strong, but there we go. Believe it or not, that's actually a road at some point. That was a bit of fun, wasn't it? So, good day of snow yesterday. Didn't stop for most of the day, to be honest. Just trying to walk up it now to check what the condition of the road is like. Really good fun watching the snow come down, dogs playing in it, and now we've just got the challenge of getting the van back up the hill, because obviously this is quite rural, so it's not been ploughed. Need to check the condition of the roof, make sure that we're not carrying another 50 kilos up there of snow. I did clear it yesterday, but I think it needs doing again. So, engine preheaters on. Got to get the van turned around, and then let's try and get out of it. Snow depth check. What we got? I reckon that's a good 15, 18 centimetres. What's going on here? Someone just came and ploughed the road. I was going to have fun on that. Thanks, mate. Right, we'll leave you there. Thanks for watching. Hope you've enjoyed it.
And give us your feedback. It'd always be interesting to hear what everybody's thoughts are. It's our first one, so it's all very new.
And need to say about the baked beans, we're not odd and just love baked beans, but when we were travelling in Southern Europe, we couldn't get them. So as soon as we got back to the UK about a month ago, we were just like, give us the baked beans. See you in a bit.